Omar, thanks so much for being here with us today. You really have spent most of your career just in the luxury segment, working your way up through Six Senses and now joining Minor. Let's start with, over those years, how have you seen the concept of luxury evolve? And what does luxury mean for you today?
Of course. Well, first of all, Riyan, I just want to say it's a great feeling to do this with you. It's like being in the living room of my house. That's my feeling. Good friend and love collaborating with you and GBR. So thank you for having me. And thank you everyone for staying until so late. I really appreciate it. Luxury is a big word these days. And unfortunately, luxury is starting to become, like many other words in hospitality, a little bit overused. That's the reality. Over the last 20 years, we have seen a lot of evolution of this famous word, luxury. And for us at Minor, luxury is not any longer about golden chandeliers, polished marble flooring, and crazy product. For us, that's something that will come according to the location where we are developing or operating a branded residential product, because the location is the one that needs to dictate what the product will be. But for us, luxury is more about, anticipation. The real luxury is anticipation of guest needs. It's anticipation of what really people are coming to our properties for. And why are they buying these units for, right? Are they buying these units with the purpose of reconnecting with their family, reconnecting with the destination, finding a break, or is this something that is more meaningful for them, right? So luxury is a much bigger word that I think has evolved over the time. And with luxury comes many things, and maybe what is luxury for you is slightly different for me. It's very personalized. That's why I think having well-defined brands will certainly support the product of branded residences in order to be able to attract these I don't call them demographic anymore, but it's more psychographic, of what people are really after.
And I mean, just listening to the previous panel, do you think space still holds an important key role to play in luxury?
A space is very different ways of defining a space. There is a space in Phuket, and there is a space in the center of London or Tokyo, right?
Yep.
But I do still believe that the space is important in luxury, Yep. People still want to feel comfortable, and they want to have a certain level of comfort, and that comes with the space,
Yep.
Definitely.
Now, Omar, you've been living in Bangkok for a couple of decades now.
Yes, that's right.
And through that sort of process of evolution and understanding luxury, working in luxury with Six Senses and now with Minor, is there something that sort of embodies the concept of luxury for an Asian purchaser, or when you're working with Asian developers?
Yeah, I think Asia is, in my opinion, is ahead sometimes of the game when it comes to the luxury offering. If you see many brands, a product that they might have in the US or Europe, because of many reasons, right? Construction costs, more saturated markets, etc. But that same brand, when they travel to Asia, they tend to elevate as they come to Asia. And there are many reasons for that. One is product. Two is, I think the Asian market has become very discerning when it comes to what luxury means for them, because they have access to that. Is the Asian people as well. I think hospitality is in their blood. I'm born in Mexico, Spanish parents, but I've been in Thailand for 22 years, so I consider myself also Thai. It's the longest place where I've been living without moving away. So I think that nature of people really helps bring luxury into what I was mentioning before, which is the anticipation of need of a guest and that service that people are looking for.
And interestingly, that anticipation, it runs through the whole family, doesn't it, in real luxury? It's about your children. It's about your parents. It's about your lifestyle as a couple, potentially. And certainly from my experience, that's a really big differentiator, the thinking about the pan-generational piece of ownership. So at Minor, you have some fantastic luxury brands. Of course, some really flagship luxury brands. So tell us a little bit about what Minor's doing in the luxury space and how you're addressing this market segment.
Yes, of course. No, thank you for that. Well, we have quite a few luxury brands, and Also working on a couple of new ones, very exciting ones. But Anantara is our flagship luxury brand. Today we have 53 hotels in over 26 countries. We started in Asia. It's very interesting because our company started in luxury, and we started in resorts, and then we evolved into cities, and slowly we evolved into acquiring other companies that are in the other tiers, right? So I think our mentality as a company is very much focused on that anticipation and providing service to our guests. But because we own 70% of our portfolio, we also think like owners, so we're very bottom line driven. When it comes to residences, I think we have quite a few very nice examples, like our property in Phuket and Antara Layan, where we are trading. I think our last residential there unit sold for close to 80 million US, which is, very premium price compared to other branded residential in the same place. And we continue to develop units there. In our pipeline today, we are looking at close to 500 projects. I can tell you that around 25% of our pipeline today has a branded residential component into it.
25%.
25%, but that's including from luxury to mid-scale. If I were to look at just luxury, I anticipate that majority of our projects will certainly have a branded residential product into it, as is certainly a growth enabler. And nowadays, with the construction costs going up and with all these mixed-use developments, are certainly very helpful for our developers.
Yeah, I think the sort of the market, or at least anecdotal market standard, is about 70% of all luxury hotel deals now have a residential component, which really just goes to show that it's such a fundamental part of that luxury space and making it stack up fundamentally.
That's right.
Omar, you've famously been known to talk about residences of purpose, or property of purpose. Tell us a little bit about what you understand by that concept.
Of course. Well, I think that when people buy a branded residential product is because that truly resonates with the buyer, resonates with the brand that they are buying. And I think for me the purpose is the fact that you have label residences and you have branded residences. That's how I describe them. A branded residential product is the one that comes most probably with a service provider, a hotel brand behind it. And then the purpose needs to be the genuine activation of that brand within those residential units, right? So what we're doing at Minor is obviously very focused on providing effortless living, activating the brand, but we are about to launch something very interesting in the US, which is going to be very focused on, and Ingo and the other panel were talking about it, on wellness living. And for us, wellness living is not throwing a yoga mat in the corner of the residence, is really having technology within your unit that will allow you to live healthier as you're living in your house. So for example, have lights that help you regulate your circadian rhythm, have blue light in your mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth that will help you wake up, maybe have red light in your shower area, so that helps with the skin health, have magnesium filters within your bathroom taps, etc., etc. And then, yes, you can layer then the fitness and other things. But we believe that this is the future of wellness because we all want to be healthier, we want to be live longer. And then in city environment, I think air quality is very important. So that's the other technology that we're looking into it as well.
Yeah, I remember seeing, years ago now, the Ritz-Carlton in Amman, which had negative air filtration, and that's the kind of thing that was happening in operating theaters, and it went down a storm, real differentiator.
That's true.
We've heard quite a lot today about some of the trends, standalone residences, rental programs, which are often at the opposite ends of the scale, right? You've got the rental programs for the investment-driven purchasers offered usually in a co-located scenario, and then standalone usually doesn't have a rental program, and it's very much driven out of lifestyle and usage and trophy ownership and community. How are you dealing with these two concepts? In particular, standalone, I'd be interested to understand your approach to it. Mm-hmm. Classically, hoteliers take a bit of time to come around to standalone, but is Minor there? Are you there now?
Yes, we are now finally there. It was a process for us, to be very honest. We're very focused now on the branded residential product. As a matter of fact, we're looking at a few standalone residential developments in the Middle East, and we have considered a couple here in Asia. Our preference obviously will be to first have the hotel with that brand and then have the standalone residential building, just because we believe that we can provide that better service to these units. But it's all, as what I mentioned before, it's all about being very genuine about the activation of this brand in a standalone product, and not just putting a label in front of a building, right? So if it's going to be an Anantara, how we're bringing the Anantara values into that. If it's a Tivoli or if it's an NH collection, how do we do that? So being very genuine about that. So that's certainly something we're open to. And then rental program that you just mentioned before, we believe that rental program is extremely useful, especially in leisure destinations, obviously. We do not force people to put their unit in the rental program, especially in our luxury brands. We are not in favor of going out guaranteeing returns, because we all know how that ends up all the time. And then we're very open in terms of different mix, or maybe having a little bit more residential or a little bit less hotel. We're very entrepreneurial at Minor. As long as it adds value to the brand, it has a long-term financial plan for both the developer and us, the brand, we will always look into it for sure.
And just, I mean, for those sort of developers in the room who might have a standalone opportunity, would you be able, for example, to deploy the Anantara brand in a location where you perhaps only have a Tivoli hotel? Is there the same sort of operational back of house or support that could support a luxury brand with with maybe a premium or a lower end of luxury hotel in that same location?
Yeah, we might be able to do that. Obviously, it depends on the type of product and the facilities that the standalone building will come with, right?
Yeah.
So if it's an Anantara residential building, we will expect to have a certain level of common areas that will enable us already to provide that Anantara brand experience.
Yep.
But then from some of the other services, if we have another of our brand hotels nearby, we will consider doing that for sure.
Yep. Great. Sadly, we're out of time, but I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah.
If that's all right. I want to ask two lighter questions.
Okay.
So first one, straight off the top of your head, if you could buy a branded residence in any branded residential project around the world, doesn't have to be Minor or Six Senses, up to you, where would you choose and why?
Well, I have a little home in Phuket, and if money was not an object, I would like to buy a bigger home in Phuket. I love Phuket very much. For me, it's my place where I go and relax, and that's my.
Can you put a name to a brand?
I'm gonna sound biased, but you guys should look at what we have done in Anantara Layan with our residential units. They're pretty amazing.
Okay, final question. You've had a long career in residential and in hospitality. What, if anything, would you say you'd want to leave as the legacy of your career in our wonderful sector?
Well, I hope when you say long career, you make me feel old, and I am not, a little bit. I still, in my head, I think I'm 25, but anyways, but I think the beauty of the work that we do in development is also doing good to your buyer and to your developer and to the community around the projects, right? So, for example, we talk about wellness residences. So if by doing this work, we're helping people live better, being healthier, I think that's part of the legacy. And then sustainability we didn't touch on during this conversation. We didn't have enough time. But again, being able to work closely with local communities, with environment, and making sure that we leave a better place for our future generations is something I'm very passionate about.
Fantastic. Amen. Omar, we should have given triple the amount of time, really. I'd love to keep on talking, and obviously you're going to be around this evening.
Yes.
The network, so obviously an opportunity for everyone to catch up with Omar or any of us. So all that's left to say is a huge thank you. It's a pleasure working with you, and to have some time up here on stage with you. Thanks. Omar Romero, everyone.
Thank you.